Hey guys, welcome back. Timber2 here today with a new video. Today we're taking a quick look at Battlefield's first season. 0 Hour has finally come out, and the Battle Pass is now featured in the game as a way to progress and unlock new cosmetics. But there's something about the Battle Pass that they don't tell you that I consider to be pretty shady. So if you haven't purchased the Battle Pass yet, and you're thinking about doing so, I'm just going to show you this little thing that you probably have noticed if you've been playing, but might not have clued into or might not understand fully how bad it really is and how deep it really goes. And I'm not going to draw this out forever or anything, so the problem, as I see it, that I'm talking about is the way that you earn these Battle Pass points, these little dots, let's call them, by gaining XP. So of course you have weeklies. If you've seen, the Battle Pass works just like any Battle Pass in a game. You have weekly challenges that you can do. There are no dailies for some reason. If there were, it would alleviate this problem quite a lot. But the weeklies give you little dots, and a dot is basically 1/10 of a tier on the pass. So one tier is 1/100th of the pass. You see how it makes sense. Now, when you first buy the pass, or even if you don't buy it, but when you first start playing the season and progressing the Battle Pass, you'll notice that it is 2,000 XP for one dot. So 1/10 of a tier, meaning that a tier would be 20,000 XP. Now that is pretty good. That's a pretty good rate, I would say, because usually in a match you'll probably get like 15k XP playing Conquest. That's actually pretty fast. You know, you get the 10,000 bonus for your first match of the day, which is half a tier on the Battle Pass. That's pretty good. My cat's going nuts. So that all seems really nice, but then as you play more, you know, you look at that and you're like, hey, that's pretty fast. I could probably finish this whole pass, you know, pretty quickly. There's only one map and I have to do the same shit over and over and over. But with that and the weeklies, I can probably finish this pass. I better buy it. Now, as you progress more, you know, you start leveling up the pass, you hit like 10. The XP per dot, so per tier as well, actually increases incrementally and does not seem to cap at any point. Now, if you don't understand how drastically bad this is, this means that when you first get the pass, playing a few matches, you'll see a little bit of progress, you know, and this is Conquest. It's not like 10-minute TDMs or anything. It's like 15, 20, maybe 25-minute games, and you're getting like half a tier of dots worth, so half a tier on the pass, which is pretty good if you're putting in work, you know, and this is all XP dependent. So if you're maybe wanting to just have a more lax playstyle and sit and snipe or something like that, you aren't going to be seeing the XP returns nearly as much. There's also win bonus XP, which is helpful, a few thousand. That's only going to get you like one dot, but, you know, 1/10 of the pass tier. But if you're playing like medic or support and you're really reviving a lot or getting a lot of assists and a lot of kills, maybe you're like flying helis and everyone's getting kill assists at the side or something that's a lot more XP heavy, usually like support playing or medic playing, you'll see a lot of XP that way. Every like 10 revives would be 500 XP, which would be a dot. That slowly all starts to add up when you see that now instead of 2,000 per dot, it's 4,000 per dot, and you're only at tier 14. And if this keeps going, you know, every tier, it adds 500 XP for a dot, which, drawn out across 10 dots for one tier, becomes ridiculously long to go up a single tier, almost to an impossible degree. Now, you might think I'm exaggerating, but there is, you know, proof, image proof, of someone where one dot takes 25,000 XP. So that means basically 2 full games of Conquest to get 1/10 of a tier on the Battle Pass. That is absurd. We're looking at an average of 30 to 40 minutes for 1/10 of a tier. And of course, if you factor in weeklies, that's going to help. But someone has actually broken down the math here on Reddit, Vincent NZ, and he has broken it down that, you know, you have 100 ranks, 10 points each, 1,000 points to reach max. You gain points by XP or weeklies. Every rank you achieve, the XP needed to gain a point goes up by 250. So when you first start doing the pass, it's 2,000 per dot. You think that's great. You tier up, it's now 2250, and it keeps going. So the missions for this week give you 49 points, so about 5 tiers. If they do that across the entire season, then you don't miss any, and you do all your weeklies, then you will get 60 tiers, and you will still need 40 tiers worth, so 400 points worth of XP. Meaning that as you're playing, if you're doing those weeklies, the amount of XP that you need to do is actually increasing, making the time you need to play actually longer if you're doing those weeklies earlier. Because the weeklies are just straight dots, but the more dots you get, the more XP it takes. So like, if you think about that, if you don't play at all, and then you do all your weeklies, or even if you just do your weeklies each week, since that's progressing you faster, because the weeklies give you a bunch of tiers, like 4 or 5 tiers, now you need to play more XP for the dots because you use the weeklies to get them. Whereas if you didn't do any weeklies and just played a bunch and then did the weeklies, if you kind of see what I'm saying, it is ridiculous. So basically the way this works, the last 40 levels, you need to get, and this is this is the math broken down. I'll link it in the description below if you want to read it yourself. If you do every single weekly, those 40 levels, you will need 2.8 million XP. And if you're averaging 15,000 per round, which is a nice loose average, you can factor in 10k bonus a day. You need to do 187 full matches of Conquest and all your weeklies. So, that is doable of, 187 games. That sounds fine. But if you miss any of these weeklies at all, or even if you don't play, like I said, XP heavy operators or play styles, or if you take a week off of playing Battlefield 2042, as I'm sure everyone's about to do because the content is already running dry, you are basically screwed. As soon as you stop playing at all and miss a week, or don't do a week, or really just don't play, you are in a rough spot. Now, the ways that this could be alleviated is that this could only be a thing in place to stop you from progressing too fast. If you take a look at a game like Halo Infinite, if you play too much at once, they slow you down so that you don't finish it all at once. So the actual total amount of time, if you draw it out, is not increased, but if you're trying to blast through it, they kind of stunt you. And that could be what they're doing. It could, as soon as the next week comes, reset back to 2,000. This would make it completely fine, and it all would be good. We don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's a very EA thing to happen, but it could happen. And then furthermore than that, there's one other way they could alleviate this, and that is also looking at Halo Infinite. And they've kind of alluded to it with this game by saying that things on the pass will be able to be unlocked at a later date. Now, the way that they said that in this game, I think they were just referring to those sort of actual gameplay changing things on the pass, like the 2 weapons and the 2 vehicles and the gadget, the smoke grenades. I think that is what they meant, that those, if you come into the game on Season 2, will be able to unlock those weapons in a different way, by doing a different challenge. Or, even just paying for them flat out. I don't know, it's EA after all. I don't think they mean that you can unlock the past content at a later date. Another reference to Halo Infinite, if you don't know how it works, that game has seasons just like any game these days, and battle passes. But once the season ends, the content is not lost or locked or, doesn't go away. You can come back, and if you come back to Halo Infinite on Season 3, you can pick to progress any pass one at a time. So if I come, I can choose Season 1 and start progressing that, buy the Season 1 Battle Pass, and I have as long as I want to complete it, which is a very pro-consumer, nice thing to do. It makes skins and everything on the pass not very, rare or special in any way, but it is very pro-consumer that you can unlock anything you want, any season, over any amount of time. And I don't think that's the way that they're going with this or what they meant. I think they meant gameplay-changing items on the pass, like the weapons, will be available at a later date. So, all that said, Unless you actually think you are going to do every single weekly and still play hundreds of matches of Battlefield to your best, as well. You need to be getting a lot of XP constantly because it's XP based. Unless you think you're doing all that, there's a very low chance that the average player is going to be able to finish this Battle Pass. And I think it's pretty shitty that they don't explain up front in any way, or really anywhere, that XP amount is going up. If you're not paying attention, you'll notice eventually, but you won't notice. I didn't notice till like 4 grand. I looked and I was like, why? It's 3,500 for a dot now? What happened? I thought it was 2 grand for a dot. And it really starts to make a difference when you used to get 5 dots a game because it was 2 grand. Now it's 3 grand. That immediately is a 50% slap on top of like less progress, and then it just becomes this huge grind, and it really starts to kick in right around where you're gonna get the gun, because you run out of weeklies, and now your XP per dot is just absurd. And so I just want to make a video about that. Let me know what you guys think about it down below, if you've played or even if you haven't, like what you think of the sounds of that. Like I said, it doesn't seem to have a cap, so we're talking tens of thousands of XP for 1/10 of a tier. Like, you will legitimately, near the end of the season, be needing 30,000 XP, 2 full matches of Conquest, to go up 1/10 on the Battle Pass of a tier. That is fucking mind-boggling. That makes no sense. They expect you then to put in 5 hours of gameplay for 1 tier. And they want you to do that for the last, like, 30 tiers. What? Huh? You want me to play Battlefield? How much? You want me to play this game? What? Too much. 1 hour's too much. That's absurd. Anyways, guys, that's about it. Just thought I'd let you know. Let me know what you think of the new season. I think the map's good. I think the gun's good. I think there's not enough content. And I think the pass is a little stinky. It pays for itself if you buy it and you finish it, but yeah, good luck finishing it. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. We've got some cool videos coming down the line. A lot of cool games coming, fun games. And that's about it. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Yeah. Subscribe for more. Join the Discord. You can hit me up personally on Discord if you want. You can tell me I'm a dumbass piece of shit, and I will actually see it and I'll reply. Same if you comment. I see every comment. I get a lot of comments that are like, fuck this kid. Dumb bitch kid. I see them. I see every single one. Really, thanks, guys.